I stood at the ATM outside my neighborhood grocery store, card in hand, trying to withdraw $60 for my weekly shopping. The machine blinked, processed, then displayed words that made my heart stop. Insufficient funds. I stared at the screen, certain there was a mistake. I pressed the balance inquiry button. $0.00. My life savings, $73,000, gone. With shaking fingers, I called the bank. They confirmed my worst nightmare. My son Travis had withdrawn everything yesterday using the power of attorney I gave him 2 years ago. I barely remember driving home. My hands trembled so badly I could hardly grip the steering wheel. Once inside my small ranch house, I immediately tried calling Travis. The phone rang once, twice, then went straight to voicemail. His cheerful recorded message mocked me. "Hey, this is Travis. Leave a message and I'll get back to you when I can." I tried again. Voicemail. Again. Voicemail. Panic rising in my chest. I called my daughter-in-law Jessica. Same result. Straight to voicemail after one ring. They were deliberately avoiding me. My 67-year-old hands shook as I scrolled through my phone, trying to think of who else to call, what else to do. Then I remembered my credit cards. With growing dread, I pulled out my wallet and called the number on the back of my Visa card. The automated system informed me my balance was $8,300. Maxed out. My MasterCard? $6,200. Also maxed out. My Discover card? $4,900. Every single card completely maxed. I logged into my online banking on my laptop, my vision blurring with tears. There, in the transaction history, I saw Travis had added himself as an authorized user on all 3 cards 2 months ago. I never knew. I never authorized it. He had been planning this. My mortgage payment was due in 5 days. $2,100. I had nothing. Not 1 penny to my name. Sleep was impossible that night. At 7 in the morning, I was dressed and waiting outside my bank when they opened. The manager, Gerald, a kind man in his 50s who had helped me for years, listened to my story with a grave expression. "Mrs. Henderson," he said gently, "I need to pull up your account history." He typed on his computer, his face growing more serious with each click. Finally, he turned the monitor toward me. There was the withdrawal slip, dated 2 days ago, $73,000, cash withdrawal. The signature was Travis's, clearly visible on the scanned document. "He came in person?" I whispered. Gerald nodded. "Would you like to see the security footage?" I did not want to see it, but I needed to. Gerald led me to a small office where he pulled up the security camera footage from 2 days ago. At 2:47 in the afternoon, Travis walked into the bank. He was not alone. Jessica walked beside him, and behind them was an older woman I recognized from photographs as Beverly, Jessica's mother. All 3 of them were dressed nicely, Travis in a pressed shirt, the women in summer dresses. I watched my son approach the teller window. I watched him hand over paperwork. I watched the teller count out stacks and stacks of $100 bills. I watched Travis stuff the money into a leather bag. And then I watched all 3 of them leave the bank together, laughing, actually laughing. "Mrs. Henderson," Gerald said quietly, "the power of attorney you signed gave Travis full legal access to your account. From a legal standpoint, this withdrawal, while morally questionable, was technically legitimate. What can I do?" My voice sounded hollow. "You can revoke the power of attorney immediately, which I can help you with right now, but that does not undo what has already been done. You would need to pursue this through the legal system, possibly file a civil suit for financial elder abuse, but that is expensive and time-consuming. I have no money for a lawyer." Gerald's sympathetic expression told me everything I needed to know. There was nothing the bank could do. I walked out of that bank feeling like a ghost. Everything I had worked for, 42 years of teaching, every penny I had saved for retirement, gone in a single afternoon. My neighbor Dorothy was getting her mail when I pulled into my driveway. She waved, then seeing my face, hurried over. "Natalie? What's wrong?" I tried to speak but could not find the words. Dorothy took my arm and guided me inside, made me sit down, brought me a glass of water. The whole story poured out of me in broken sentences. "Oh, honey," Dorothy breathed. "But wait, I saw Travis here yesterday morning. He was loading suitcases into a rental car, big expensive-looking ones. I thought it was odd because he does not usually visit you this early." My head snapped up. "What time?" "Around 10 in the morning. He made several trips from his car to the rental, and I heard Jessica on her phone. She was standing right there on your driveway, talking loud enough that I could hear her from my porch. She said something about Caribbean beaches and finally getting what they deserve. Caribbean beaches, my money, my life savings. I spent the rest of the morning on the phone with Helen, a lawyer friend from my book club. Helen listened carefully, asked questions, took notes. Natalie, I hate to tell you this, but power of attorney cases are incredibly complicated. If you signed that document willingly and competently, which I assume you did, then Travis technically had the legal authority to access your funds. Proving that he abused that authority for his own benefit rather than yours is possible, but it requires extensive legal proceedings. We are talking depositions, court filings, possibly a trial. The legal fees alone would run you $15,000 to $20,000, probably more. I have nothing, Helen. He took everything. Then your options are limited. You could file a police report for financial elder abuse. But I need to be honest with you. Unless there is clear evidence of fraud or coercion, the police usually treat these as civil matters, not criminal ones. I thanked Helen and hung up feeling even more hopeless than before. That evening, I checked my email out of habit. There, in my inbox, was an automated message from Travis's email account, an out-of-office responder. Out of office for 3 weeks. Currently enjoying paradise in St. Lucia with my beautiful wife and mother-in-law. Will respond when I return. Below the text was a photograph that made my blood run cold. Travis, Jessica, and Beverly stood on a pristine white sand beach, turquoise water behind them. They held colorful cocktails with little umbrellas. They wore matching resort wristbands. They were all smiling broadly, not a care in the world. The caption read, "Living our best life. Finally." I zoomed in on the photograph. The wristbands had text on them. Sapphire Cove Resort. 3 weeks. In St. Lucia. On my money. I looked up the resort online. $800 per night. For 3 people, 3 weeks. That was over $16,000, just for the rooms. Add flights. Probably first class knowing Travis. Add meals, excursions, spa treatments, drinks. They were burning through $40,000, maybe $50,000 of my retirement savings on a vacation. My shock was slowly transforming into something else. Something harder. Something angrier. I could not sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that photograph. Their smiling faces, their expensive drinks, my money. By 6 in the morning, I was at my computer, researching everything I could find about Sapphire Cove Resort in St. Lucia. It was a 5-star property, all-inclusive packages, private beach, world-class spa, exactly the kind of place I had dreamed of visiting someday, but never could afford. Now my son was there, living my dream. With my money. I found the resort's phone number, and, without letting myself overthink it, I dialed. A pleasant woman with a lilting Caribbean accent answered. "Sapphire Cove Resort, this is Diane. How may I help you?" "I need to speak with your manager, please. It is urgent." "May I ask what this is regarding?" "It is regarding guests who are currently staying at your resort. My son. He is there with stolen money." There was a pause. "Please hold, ma'am." Soft music played for 3 minutes before a man's voice came on the line. "This is Mr. Patterson, resort manager. I understand you have a concern about one of our guests?" I explained everything. The power of attorney. The stolen $73,000. The fact that they were at his resort right now, spending money that belonged to me. Mr. Patterson listened without interrupting. When I finished, he sighed deeply. "Mrs. Henderson, I am truly sorry for your situation. However, I need to be clear with you. The reservation for your son was paid in full at the time of booking. We have no legal basis to intervene in what appears to be a family financial dispute. Our hands are tied, but it is my money. He stole it. I understand, and I sympathize. But from our perspective, we received payment through legitimate channels. We cannot freeze charges or deny service based on allegations of family disputes. My advice would be to contact your local authorities. I have. They say it is a civil matter. Then I am afraid there is little I can do. I truly am sorry." The call ended. I sat staring at my phone, feeling utterly defeated. But I was not done trying. I called my local police department and asked to file a report. Officer Raymond came to my house that afternoon, a young man who looked barely 30. He listened, took notes, but his expression told me everything before he even spoke. "Mrs. Henderson, since you signed the power of attorney document willingly, without coercion or duress, this falls under civil law, not criminal law. Your son had legal access to your account, but he took everything. That has to be illegal. Morally wrong, yes. Legally prosecutable as theft, unfortunately, no. You would need to hire an attorney and pursue this through civil court. File a lawsuit for breach of fiduciary duty or financial exploitation. How long would that take? Could be months, maybe longer, and there is no guarantee you would win or recover your money." After Officer Raymond left, I sat in my living room and cried. Really cried. The kind of crying that comes from deep in your chest and leaves you exhausted. My phone rang. "Margaret, my older sister, Natalie. I heard from Helen what happened. Why did you give Travis power of attorney in the first place?" "I had surgery 2 years ago, Margaret. I needed someone to handle my finances if something went wrong. He is my son. I trusted him. I warned you about that boy, Natalie. Even when he was young, he was selfish, always taking, never giving. You spoiled him. I did not call you to be lectured. No, you called because you need money. How much do you need?" I swallowed my pride. "My mortgage payment is due in 3 days, $2,100. Margaret was silent for a long moment. "I will lend it to you. But Natalie, I expect to be paid back, and you need to fix this situation. Stop making excuses for him." "Thank you, Margaret. I will transfer the money today." The money appeared in my account that evening, but it came with a bitter taste. Margaret's judgment. Her reminder that she had always been the responsible one. The implication that this was somehow my fault. I used the borrowed money to pay my mortgage, leaving me with exactly $17 in my account. That night, lying in bed, I heard my phone buzz with a text message. Unknown number. I opened it. My breath caught in my throat. It was a photograph of Travis, Jessica, and Beverly at an upscale restaurant. Crystal chandeliers hung above them. They sat at a table covered in plates of expensive-looking food. Wine glasses sparkled in the candlelight. The text that accompanied the photo read, "Stop calling the resort and embarrassing yourself. We are not coming back until we are good and ready. You always said family should share everything. Well, we are sharing your money now. Enjoy your empty nest, Jessica." A second photo came through immediately after. This one showed Beverly holding up a designer shopping bag with a famous logo. Travis wore a watch I recognized as a Rolex, the kind that costs thousands of dollars. They were not just spending my money, they were taunting me with it. Deliberately, cruelly. Jessica had sent this from a burner phone specifically to hurt me. This was not accidental. This was calculated. I stared at those photos until my eyes burned, and something inside me shifted. The grief began to harden into something else, something colder. Day 3 arrived with a certified letter from my mortgage company. Late fees had been applied to my account, $50. The letter warned that continued late payments could result in foreclosure proceedings. After 38 years in this house, 38 years of payments, I had $22,000 left on my mortgage, and now I was at risk of losing it. I sat at my kitchen table, the letter in front of me, and felt the walls closing in. Then the chest pains started. At first, I thought it was just anxiety, stress. But the tightness in my chest grew worse. My left arm tingled. The room started to spin. Dorothy found me on my front porch 20 minutes later, clutching my chest, unable to catch my breath. "Natalie, oh my God, I am calling 911. No, he gasped. No ambulance. Too expensive. Do not be ridiculous. But she did not call an ambulance. Instead, she helped me to her car and drove me to urgent care. The doctor, a tired-looking woman in her 40s, took my blood pressure and frowned. 180/110. Mrs. Henderson, that is dangerously high. Have you been under unusual stress lately? I almost laughed. Instead, I started crying. The doctor ordered an EKG, blood work, and kept me there for observation for 3 hours. When it was over, she prescribed 2 new medications and told me to follow up with my regular doctor within a week. The bill came to $850. My insurance had a high deductible that I had not met yet this year. Dorothy drove me back home. At the checkout desk, I handed over my credit card, the one that was already maxed out, declined. "I will get it," Dorothy said quietly, pulling out her own card. The humiliation burned worse than the chest pains had. "I will pay you back," I promised. "I know you will, honey. Do not worry about it right now." But I did worry about it. Now I owed Margaret $2,100 and Dorothy $850. My debts were piling up while my son drank cocktails on a beach with my money. Back home, I could not stop myself. I spent hours online, searching for information about financial elder abuse, reading legal forums, looking for any possible solution. Every answer was the same. Hire a lawyer, file a civil suit, prove breach of fiduciary duty. $15,000 to $30,000 in upfront legal costs, months or years of litigation. No guarantee of success. I had no money, no options, no way forward. The next day at the grocery store, I ran into Mrs. Henderson, a woman from my church. She gave me a pitying look that made my stomach turn. "Natalie, I heard about what happened with Travis. I always thought something was off about that boy. Too slick, you know what I mean?" Other neighbors were whispering too. In a small community like ours, word spread fast. I was no longer Natalie Henderson, retired teacher, respected member of the community. I was Natalie Henderson, that poor woman whose son stole from her. The pity was almost worse than the financial loss. That afternoon, Helen called me. "Natalie, I have been thinking about your situation. There might be one option. If we can document Travis's excessive spending, prove that he is using your money for personal luxury rather than your care, we might be able to build a case that he violated his fiduciary duty under the power of attorney. How do we document it? We would need to hire a private investigator, someone who can track his spending, gather evidence, take photographs. It would cost about $3,000 as a retainer. $3,000. I had $17 in my checking account. "I do not have it, Helen." "I know. I am sorry. I wish I had better news." Another door slammed shut. That night, I lay in bed unable to sleep. My mind raced through possibilities, scenarios, desperate plans. Every path led nowhere. At 11:42, my phone rang. Travis's name on the caller ID. My heart leaped. Finally, he was calling. Maybe to apologize, maybe to explain, maybe to make this right. I answered on the second ring. "Travis?" "Thank God. I have been so worried." "What did you do?" His voice was high-pitched, hysterical. He was crying, screaming. "What the hell did you do, Mom?" I froze. "What?" "Travis, I do not understand. Do not play dumb. You ruined everything. Everything. How could you?" "Travis, I have not done anything. You took my money. You left me with nothing." "I hate you," he shrieked. "You destroyed my life. You vindictive, spiteful." Jessica's voice screamed in the background, shrill and furious. Your mother is a monster. Travis, please, just tell me what happened. You know exactly what happened. He was sobbing now, barely coherent. We are stuck here. Everything is frozen. The hotel, the credit cards, everything. You did this. I know you did. I swear to you, I have no idea what you are talking about. Liar! He was screaming so loud I had to hold the phone away from my ear. How could you? We are your family. You were supposed to just accept it. We needed that money. And you. The line went dead. I sat in my dark bedroom, phone in my trembling hand, completely bewildered. What was he talking about? Something had gone catastrophically wrong with their vacation. Their hotel was frozen? Their credit cards? But I had done nothing. Nothing at all. Whatever happened to them in Street Lucia, they blamed me for it, but I had no idea what it was. For the first time in 3 days, I felt a tiny flicker of something that might have been hope. I barely slept. Travis's hysterical phone call replayed in my mind over and over. Something had gone wrong with their vacation. Badly wrong. And somehow, they thought I was responsible. But what could I have possibly done? I had called the resort, yes, but Mr. Patterson made it clear they would not intervene. I had called the police, but they said it was a civil matter. I had done nothing that could have caused the kind of crisis Travis described. I tried calling him back 6 times the next morning. Every call went straight to voicemail. He had blocked my number. At 10:30, my phone rang. Sapphire Cove Resort. Mrs. Henderson? This is Mr. Patterson from Sapphire Cove Resort. We spoke a few days ago. Yes, I remember. I am calling to inform you that your son has made serious accusations against our resort. He sounded angry now, professional courtesy replaced by irritation. He claims that we stole his money, that we froze his accounts without cause, and he is threatening legal action against us. I do not understand. What happened? That is what I would like to know. 2 days ago, all of your son's credit cards stopped working. His room charges were declined. When our security team investigated, we found that his credit card companies had flagged the accounts for fraud and frozen them. Additionally, his access to the hotel's safe was denied by our security system, which should not have happened unless there was an external intervention. My head spun. But I did not do anything. Your son seems to think otherwise, Mrs. Henderson. He has been screaming at our staff, causing scenes in the lobby, threatening lawsuits. He kept mentioning someone named Marcus, saying that Marcus hacked everything and took it all. Does that name mean anything to you? Marcus? I knew no one named Marcus. No, I have never heard that name before. Well, your son appears to be having some kind of breakdown. He was shouting that Marcus hacked his accounts, stole his money, and destroyed his vacation. Mrs. Henderson, I am calling to inform you that we have asked your son and his party to leave our property immediately. They are being escorted out as we speak. Wait, where will they go? That is not our concern. Their behavior has been disruptive and threatening. Security is handling their departure now. I suggest you prepare yourself. Based on his state of mind, I expect they will be trying to return home soon, and he is very, very angry. The call ended. I sat at my kitchen table, trying to piece together what had happened. Someone named Marcus had somehow interfered with Travis's vacation, hacked his accounts, frozen his credit cards. But who was Marcus? And how did this happen? Before I could process this, my phone rang again. This time, it was a number I did not recognize. Is this Natalie Henderson? Yes. Who is this? This is Jennifer Marks from Visa Fraud Prevention. We are calling about unusual activity on your credit card, ending in 4729. That is my Visa card. Yes. Ma'am, we have detected large international charges over the past 3 days. Charges in Street Lucia totaling over $8,000. Can you confirm that you authorized these transactions? No. My son used my card without my permission. I see. Was your son an authorized user on this account? I thought back. No. I never added him as an authorized user. He must have done it himself. Ma'am, that would constitute credit card fraud. We are going to freeze this account immediately and open an investigation. You will not be held responsible for these charges." Relief flooded through me. Thank you. You should expect similar calls from your other credit card companies. It looks like fraud alerts were triggered across multiple accounts. Over the next 2 hours, I received 3 more calls. MasterCard, Discover, even my bank. All of them had frozen the fraudulent accounts. All of them were opening investigations. Someone had triggered these fraud alerts. But who? How? At 2 in the afternoon, Dorothy knocked on my door. She looked guilty. "Natalie, I need to tell you something. I think I might have caused all of this." "What do you mean?" She came inside, wringing her hands. "After I saw how devastated you were, how Travis had just destroyed you, I got angry. Really angry. So I called my nephew Marcus. He is a computer security specialist, works in cybersecurity. I just asked him to check if Travis was doing anything else illegal online. You know, to see if there was any evidence that could help your case." Marcus. The name from Travis's phone call. What did he find? Too much. Way too much. Natalie. Marcus discovered that Travis had been planning this for months. He found emails where Travis and Jessica discussed how much your house was worth, spreadsheets calculating your net worth, research on power of attorney loopholes. They planned everything. My hands began to shake. "Did you tell the police?" Marcus did. He forwarded everything to the police and the FBI. But Natalie, there is more. Marcus also discovered that Travis had set up a fake email address posing as your bank's fraud department. He was planning to intercept any fraud alerts you might receive so you would never know what he was doing. So Marcus stopped him? Dorothy's face crumpled. Marcus did more than that. He got angry. He hacked Travis's phone and email accounts. He accessed Travis's credit card information and reported them all as stolen to the credit card companies. That is what triggered all the fraud alerts. And he did not just freeze Travis's cards. He froze Jessica's cards too, and Beverly's. They are all linked to the same accounts. The pieces fell into place. Marcus had sabotaged their entire vacation. "And the hotel safe?" I asked. Marcus hacked into the resort security system and locked Travis out of his own hotel safe. Natalie, my nephew did all of this to help you, but he did it illegally, without your knowledge or permission. If Travis presses charges, Marcus could go to prison for computer fraud and identity theft. Federal charges. And Natalie, because Marcus did this for you, the authorities might think you hired him to do it. They might charge you as an accomplice. The relief I had felt moments ago evaporated. I had gone from victim to potential criminal defendant in the span of one conversation. Dorothy, I did not know. I did not ask him to do any of this. I know that. But proving it might be difficult. Marcus acted without authorization. He broke multiple federal laws. And he did it because I asked him to help you. What do? I do not know. But Natalie, I am so sorry. I was just trying to help. The next morning, I found an email waiting for me from a law firm I did not recognize. Myers and Associates, attorneys at law. Dear Mrs. Henderson, we represent Travis Henderson, Jessica Henderson, and Beverly Walsh in a matter concerning malicious interference, defamation, conspiracy to commit computer crimes, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Our client's vacation was deliberately sabotaged through illegal hacking and fraud. We have evidence that links this criminal activity to individuals acting on your behalf. Our client suffered significant damages, including emotional trauma, financial losses, and reputational harm. We demand payment of $100,000 within 30 days to settle this matter, or we will file a civil lawsuit seeking compensatory and punitive damages. I read it 3 times, my vision blurring. They were suing me. My own son was threatening to sue me for $100,000 because someone tried to help me recover the money he stole. 2 hours later, 2 police detectives arrived at my door. Detectives Mills and Patterson from the cybercrime unit. Mrs. Henderson, we are investigating allegations of unauthorized computer access, identity theft, and wire fraud. Are you familiar with an individual named Marcus Chen? Dorothy's nephew, but I barely know him. Did you hire Mr. Chen to hack into your son's accounts? No. I did not even know what he was doing until yesterday. Ma'am, we have evidence that Mr. Chen accessed multiple secure computer systems without authorization. He interfered with financial accounts, hotel security systems, and communications networks. These are federal crimes. We need to know the extent of your involvement. I had no involvement. Dorothy mentioned she asked him to look into whether Travis had done anything illegal, but I did not ask for that. I certainly did not ask him to hack anything. The detectives exchanged glances. Mrs. Henderson, you need to understand something. Whether you explicitly asked for these actions or not, if Mr. Chen believed he was acting in your interests, you could be charged as an accessory or co-conspirator. We strongly suggest you retain legal counsel. After they left, I sat in stunned silence. My mortgage was in danger. I owed money to my sister and my neighbor. My son had stolen my life savings, and now I was being investigated for federal computer crimes I did not commit. Dorothy called an hour later, sobbing. Natalie, they arrested Marcus. Federal agents showed up at his apartment this morning. They charged him with unauthorized access to protected computers, identity theft, and wire fraud. His lawyer says he could face 5 to 10 years in federal prison. Dorothy, I am so sorry. It is not your fault. But Natalie, his lawyer needs $50,000 as a retainer. I do not have that kind of money. My nephew is going to prison because he tried to help you. The guilt crashed over me in waves. That afternoon, another letter arrived. This one from my mortgage company. Official foreclosure proceedings had begun. I had 30 days to pay the full outstanding balance of $22,500, or I would lose my home. The stress sent my blood pressure soaring again. I could feel my heart pounding, my head throbbing. The doctor had warned me that I needed to reduce stress or risk a major stroke. But how could I reduce stress when everything in my life was falling apart? At 8 that evening, Helen stopped by. She had heard about the investigation. Natalie, this is serious. Very serious. If they charge you as an accomplice to Marcus's crimes, you could face prison time yourself. Federal prison. You need a criminal defense attorney immediately. I cannot afford an attorney, Helen. I cannot afford anything. Then we need to figure something out fast, because this situation is escalating rapidly. The next day, I received another devastating blow. The hospital called about the bill from my emergency room visit. $4,300. My insurance covered some of it, but I still owed $2,800. They wanted payment within 60 days, or they would send it to collections, which would destroy what little remained of my credit. I sat at my kitchen table and made a list of everything I owed. Margaret, $2,100. Dorothy, $850. Hospital, $2,800. Mortgage, $22,500. Potential lawsuit, $100,000. Total, $128,250. I had $17 in my checking account. That evening, a black Cadillac pulled up in front of my house. I watched through my window as Travis got out, followed by Jessica and Beverly. They looked terrible. Travis had dark circles under his eyes. Jessica's hair was unwashed and pulled back in a messy ponytail. Beverly looked pale and shaken. I opened the door before they could knock. "Mom?" Travis's voice was flat, drained of all emotion. "Come in." They filed into my living room and sat on my couch. Nobody spoke for a long moment. "Finally," Travis said, "our vacation was destroyed. Completely destroyed. The resort kicked us out. They deported us from Street Lucia. We spent 2 days basically in custody with resort security while they investigated the hacking. All our credit cards were frozen. We could not pay for anything, could not even get food. The resort had to feed us in a security office while they processed our removal from the country. I did not do that, Travis. Someone did it for you, without my knowledge or permission." Jessica leaned forward, her face twisted with anger. "Your friend's nephew destroyed everything. We have evidence, emails, digital footprints, all pointing back to you. I did not hire him. I did not ask him to do anything, but you benefited from it. Beverly spoke for the first time, her voice sharp. You wanted revenge, and you got it. I stood up. I wanted my money back. The money you stole from me. We did not steal anything, Travis said. I had power of attorney, which you abused. You took my entire life savings for a vacation. Travis looked at the floor. Jessica opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. The silence stretched. Then Travis said something that changed everything. It was not for a vacation. What? The money. It was not for a vacation, Mom. I mean, yes, we went on vacation, but that was not why I took the money. Jessica grabbed his arm. Travis, do not. He shook her off. She is going to find out anyway. Everything is falling apart. Beverly stood up. I am leaving. I want no part of this. But she did not leave. She sat back down, looking sick. Travis took a deep breath. I have a gambling problem, Mom. A serious one. I owe $70,000 to some very dangerous people. People who were going to hurt me. Possibly kill me. I needed that money to pay them off. I took your $73,000, paid the debt, and used what was left on credit cards to take Jessica and Beverly on vacation as a cover story. We were celebrating that I was still alive. The room seemed to tilt. You gave my retirement money to loan sharks? They are not exactly loan sharks. They are more like, I do not know, organized crime. I got into online gambling, sports betting. I lost big, really big. They found me. They threatened me. I was terrified. I did not know what else to do, Jessica added. And it was not just his idea. Beverly and I helped plan it. We researched the power of attorney laws. We figured out how to maximize the credit cards. We knew we had to make it look like a vacation so nobody would ask questions. We thought you would just accept the loss eventually. Beverly nodded miserably. My daughter convinced me this was the only way to save Travis's life. I stared at my son. So you let me think you were just selfish and greedy, when really you were paying off criminals? I am sorry, Mom. I am so sorry. But now everything is worse. The people I owe, they still want their money. The bank froze the payment I made because of the fraud investigation. So now I still owe them $70,000, plus interest, which puts it at $75,000. And they are looking for me. They are coming after me. And Mom, they know about you. My blood ran cold. What does that mean? It means they think you have money. They think I can get more from you. They are not going to just let this go. As if on cue, my doorbell rang. We all froze. Through the window, I saw a black SUV parked on the street. 2 large men in dark suits stood on my porch. Travis went white. Oh God, they are here. Travis dove behind my couch. Jessica grabbed Beverly and pulled her toward the kitchen. They were terrified. I walked to the door on shaking legs and opened it. The 2 men were enormous. One was bald with a scar across his cheek. The other had dark hair slicked back and wore sunglasses even though the sun was setting. Can I help you? My voice barely worked. We are looking for Travis Henderson. The bald one spoke in a flat, emotionless tone. We were told he might be here. He is not here. Lady, we have been watching your house. We saw him go inside 10 minutes ago. My heart hammered. What do you want? Your son owes our employer money. A lot of money. We are here to collect. I do not have any money. That is between you and your son. But our employer, Mr. Romano, expects payment. $75,000. You have 3 days. Or what? The one with sunglasses smiled. It was not a friendly smile. You do not want to find out. 3 days, lady. Your son knows how to reach us. They walked back to their SUV and drove away slowly, making sure I saw them, making sure I understood they would be back. I closed the door and locked it with trembling hands. Travis emerged from behind the couch, his face ashen. Mom, I am so sorry. I never meant to bring this to your door. But these people do not care about excuses. They want their money. Travis, We need to call the police." "No!" All three of them shouted in unison. Jessica explained, "These are not the kind of people you involve the police with. If you call the cops, it will get worse. Much worse." Over the next 2 days, I tried to go about my life, but fear followed me everywhere. Every car that drove by slowly made my heart race. Every knock on the door sent terror through me. On the second day, I went to the police anyway. I told Officer Raymond about the threatening visit. He took a report but was honest with me. "Mrs. Henderson, without direct threats of violence, there is not much we can do. They said you have 3 days to pay a debt. That is not technically illegal. If they threaten you directly or hurt you, call 911 immediately. But right now, this sounds like a civil debt collection issue. These are dangerous people, officer. I believe you, but my hands are tied. I suggest you stay alert, keep your doors locked, and avoid contact with these individuals." That night, I could not sleep. I lay in bed listening to every sound, every creak of the house, imagining those men breaking in. At 2 in the morning, I heard a crash downstairs. I grabbed my phone and crept to the top of the stairs. The back door was hanging open, kicked off its hinges. I could hear movement in my kitchen. I dialed 911 and whispered to the dispatcher. Then I hid in my bedroom closet, shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. Police arrived within 8 minutes, but by then the intruders were gone. My house had been ransacked. Every drawer dumped, furniture slashed. My bedroom wall had a message spray painted in red. 3 days, pay up or pay the price. They had been looking for money, valuables, anything. And they left a message to make sure I understood. The police took photographs, dusted for fingerprints, filed a report. But Officer Raymond pulled me aside and said quietly, "Mrs. Henderson, these people are not going to stop. You need to understand that. If your son owes money to organized crime, they will keep coming until they get paid or until they decide to make an example of someone. I strongly suggest you find somewhere else to stay. This is my home. I know. But it is not safe." I called Margaret. She refused. "Natalie, I am not getting involved with criminals. You are on your own." I called Helen. She offered her spare room, but then her husband said no, too dangerous. Dorothy felt terrible but said, "With Marcus in trouble, I cannot risk bringing more problems to my door." I am sorry, Natalie. I had nowhere to go. On day 3, late in the afternoon, the black SUV pulled up again. This time, the 2 men came to my door carrying a briefcase. The bald one spoke. "Time is up. Mr. Romano is not a patient man. I do not have the money. I have nothing. We know. So Mr. Romano has a solution." He opened the briefcase and pulled out legal documents. "You are going to sign over your house to settle the debt." I stared at the papers. A quick claim deed. Transferring my house to an LLC I had never heard of. This house is not worth $75,000. I still owe $22,000 on the mortgage. Mr. Romano is aware. He is being generous. Sign the deed and the debt is forgiven. Your son lives. You live. Everyone walks away. And if I refuse? The man with sunglasses spoke for the first time. Old ladies who live alone have accidents, falls, break-ins, fires. Terrible things happen. The threat was crystal clear. I need time to think. You have 1 hour. We will be back. They left the papers on my kitchen table and drove away. I sat staring at those documents. My home. The house I had lived in for 38 years. The house where I raised Travis. Where I built my life. They wanted me to sign it over to criminals. If I signed, I would be homeless. With no money and nowhere to go. If I refused, they would hurt me. Maybe kill me. My phone rang. Travis, calling from a blocked number. "Mom, I heard they came to see you. I am so sorry. This is all my fault. Where are you?" Jessica, Beverly, and I are hiding in a motel 3 states away. We ran. We left everything behind. "Mom, just sign the papers. Give them the house. It is not worth your life." "Travis, this is my home." "I know. He was crying. I know, and I am so sorry. I destroyed everything. I destroyed your life. I destroyed my own life. Just please, Mom, sign the papers. Let me live with what I have done. Do not let them hurt you because of me. Jessica's voice in the background. Tell her to sign. We need to disappear. They will find us if she does not sign. Travis continued. Mom, Beverly is really sick. The stress triggered something. She collapsed yesterday. We took her to an emergency room but could not stay because we were afraid. We have no money. No future. Everything is gone. At least save yourself, please. For the first time in this entire nightmare, Travis sounded genuinely remorseful. But was it real? Or was he manipulating me one last time? I had 15 minutes before those men returned. I looked around my kitchen. The home I loved. Then I looked at the foreclosure notice on my counter. I was going to lose this house anyway in 30 days. But something inside me refused to surrender. I had been pushed and pushed and pushed, and I was done being a victim. I picked up my phone and made a call. Not to the police, not to a lawyer, to someone who I hoped could actually help. I called the one person I thought might be able to do something. Helen's daughter, Karen, Special Agent Karen Williams with the FBI. Helen had mentioned months ago that Karen worked in the organized crime division. I had her number saved in my phone from a holiday card list. She answered on the third ring. This is Agent Williams. Karen, this is Natalie Henderson, your mother's friend. I need help, urgently. I explained everything in rapid, breathless sentences. The loan sharks, the threats, the ransacked house, the men who were coming back in less than 15 minutes to force me to sign over my house. Mrs. Henderson, stay on the line. I heard her typing rapidly. These men threatened you directly? Yes. They said accidents happen to old ladies who live alone. And they want you to sign a deed transferring property to settle a debt? Yes. That is extortion and loan sharking, both federal crimes. Mrs. Henderson, do you have your phone set to record? I think so. Yes. When those men come back, I need you to stall them, keep them talking, get them to repeat their threats on recording. Can you do that? My hands shook. I think so. We have had Mr. Romano on our radar for 2 years, but we have not been able to get solid evidence against him or his organization. If you can record these men making explicit threats, we can move on them. How much time until they return? Maybe 10 minutes now. I am mobilizing a team right now. We are 40 minutes away. You need to stall them for at least 30 minutes. Keep them talking. Act like you are considering signing. Ask questions about the paperwork. Anything to buy time. And Mrs. Henderson, record everything. The black SUV pulled up outside, 7 minutes early. They are here. Turn on your recording. Keep me on the line but mute your phone. Put it in your pocket. I will hear everything. Stay calm. You can do this. My heart pounded so hard I thought it might burst. I turned on my phone's voice recorder, muted the call with Karen, and slipped the phone into my cardigan pocket. The knock on my door was not polite this time. It was pounding. I opened the door. The 2 men pushed past me without waiting for an invitation. Time to sign, lady. I forced my voice to stay steady. I need to understand the paperwork first. I am old. I do not understand all these legal terms. The bald one sighed impatiently. It is simple. You sign here and here. The house goes to Mr. Romano's company. Your son's debt is forgiven. But what happens to me? Where do I live? Not our problem. And my son will be safe? You will not hurt him? As long as he does not owe Mr. Romano any more money. Yeah, he will be fine. I picked up the pen, then put it down. Wait, what about the mortgage? I still owe money on this house. Mr. Romano takes care of that. How? Lady, you are asking too many questions. Just sign. But I need to know what I am signing. This is my home. What if I want to keep living here? Can I rent it back from this company? The man with sunglasses stepped closer to me. His voice was low and menacing. Listen, old woman. You are not understanding the situation. You do not get to negotiate. You do not get to ask questions. You sign right now, or things get very bad for you very fast. You understand me? Are you threatening me? Yeah, I am threatening you. Sign the papers or we are going to hurt you. We will burn this house down with you inside it if we have to. Mr. Romano does not like people who waste his time. My voice came out as a whisper. I am scared. You should be. Now sign. I picked up the pen again, my hand shaking. What if my son does not pay next time? What if he gambles again? The bald one grabbed my wrist. Lady, you are really pushing your luck here. I just want to understand. Here is what you need to understand. Mr. Romano runs a very profitable business, lending money to people who cannot get it anywhere else. Your idiot son borrowed $70,000 from us for online sports betting. He lost it all. Then he stole from you to pay us back. But that money got frozen. So now he still owes us, and we are taking your house as payment. That is how this works. We do not care about your feelings. We do not care where you go. We just want what we are owed. I looked at the papers, then at them. This seems illegal. The man with sunglasses laughed. Everything we do is illegal, sweetheart. That is the business. Now sign the damn papers before I lose my temper. What if I refuse? Then we make an example out of you. Maybe we break your hands first. Make sure you cannot sign anything ever again. Then we burn your house down anyway. Is that what you want? No. I will sign. I just need a minute to read this. You have had plenty of time. Please. I am 70 years old. I need my reading glasses. They are upstairs. Can I just go get them? The bald one looked at his watch. You have 2 minutes. And we are coming with you. They are in my bedroom. We went upstairs, the 2 men following me closely. I found my reading glasses on my nightstand, taking my time. Then I knocked over a picture frame, bending to pick it up slowly. Hurry up. Back downstairs, I made a show of reading each line of the document carefully. What does this clause mean here? It does not matter what it means. Sign. I had kept them talking for 28 minutes. When I heard sirens, the 2 men looked at each other, then at me. Realization dawned on the bald one's face. You called the cops. No, I said. I called the FBI. They tried to run, but FBI agents were already surrounding the house. Agents in tactical gear burst through both doors simultaneously. FBI! Hands up, down on the ground! The 2 men were tackled, handcuffed, and hauled outside within seconds. Karen Williams walked in, showing me her badge. Mrs. Henderson, are you hurt? No. I am okay. Did you get the recording? I pulled out my phone with shaking hands and stopped the recording. Karen listened to it, her expression growing more satisfied with each passing second. This is perfect. Explicit threats, admission of loan sharking, admission of arson plans, extortion, everything. Mrs. Henderson, you just gave us the evidence we need to take down Romano's entire operation. What happens now? Now we arrest everyone involved. Your son's testimony will be valuable, but even without it, we have enough to prosecute. Mr. Romano, his enforcers, and everyone in his organization are going down. Over the next 2 weeks, the FBI worked quickly. 15 people were arrested, including Mr. Romano himself. Travis, Jessica, and Beverly were brought in for questioning and agreed to testify in exchange for immunity from prosecution related to the loan sharking operation. They would still face charges for the financial elder abuse, but those were separate. But Karen told me something else while all of this was happening. Mrs. Henderson, I need to tell you something about your bank account. My heart sank. More bad news. Because Travis exceeded his power of attorney authority and committed fraud, the bank's insurance policy is going to cover your loss. It will take about 3 weeks to process, but you are getting all $73,000 back. I could not breathe. All of it? Every penny. And the credit card charges Travis made fraudulently? Those are being wiped clean. You owe nothing. Your credit score will be restored. I sat down heavily. I cannot believe it. There is more. Your mortgage company has agreed to forgive all late fees and penalties once they learned about the circumstances. You are current on your mortgage again. For the first time in weeks, I cried from relief instead of despair. Helen filed emergency motions in court with the recording of Travis's confession from his phone call where he admitted everything. That recording was admissible because Travis called me. Criminal charges were filed against Travis, Jessica, and Beverly for conspiracy to commit fraud and elder abuse. Arrest warrants were issued. As for Marcus, the FBI was so impressed with his digital forensics work that they offered him a deal. All charges dropped in exchange for his testimony and consulting work for the FBI's cybercrime division. His illegal hacking had actually uncovered a larger criminal conspiracy, which gave prosecutors leverage. Marcus got a job with the FBI as a consultant. Dorothy was so relieved she cried for an entire day. Travis, Jessica, and Beverly were arrested when they tried to return home 2 months later. Travis faced federal charges for elder abuse, bank fraud, and credit card fraud. His sentencing hearing resulted in 4 years in federal prison. Jessica received 3 years for conspiracy. Beverly received 2 years for being an accessory. Helen helped me file a civil lawsuit against Travis for damages. The court granted a judgment of $147,000, covering my medical bills, legal fees, property damage, and emotional distress. Travis's future wages would be garnished for the rest of his life. He would never financially recover from what he did. The story of how I helped bring down a major organized crime operation made local news. Suddenly, I was not the pitiful old woman whose son stole from her. I was the brave woman who stood up to criminals and helped the FBI take down loan sharks. My community treated me with respect and admiration. Margaret called to apologize. She tried to rebuild our relationship. I accepted cautiously. Trust, once broken, takes time to heal. Dorothy and I became closer than ever. We started a support group for seniors who had experienced financial abuse from family members. 6 months after everything happened, I sat down to write in my journal. My therapist suggested it to help process the trauma. I wrote, I spent 67 years being kind, trusting, giving. I thought that was what mothers do. Sacrifice everything for their children. But I learned something. Love without boundaries is not love. It is enabling. My son did not need my money. He needed to face his consequences. I did not destroy him. I freed both of us. 1 year after my nightmare began, my life looked completely different. My bank account was fully restored with every penny returned. My home was secure, repaired, and felt like a sanctuary again. My health had improved dramatically now that the stress was gone. I started volunteering at a local senior center, teaching financial literacy classes. I taught other seniors how to protect themselves from fraud, how to recognize manipulation, and how to set boundaries with family members. My classes were always full. I even started writing a book about my experience. Working title: The Price of Blind Love, A Mother's Journey from Victim to Survivor. And I started dating someone new. Thomas, a retired firefighter I met at the senior center. He was kind, respectful, and treated me like I mattered. We took things slowly. I was learning to trust again. One afternoon I received a letter from Travis. He had been in federal prison for 8 months. The letter was long, handwritten, filled with apologies and regrets. He wrote, Mom, I am so sorry. I was weak, stupid, desperate. I destroyed everything. I hurt you in ways I can never take back. I do not expect you to forgive me. I do not deserve forgiveness. But I want you to know that I am getting help in here. Therapy, gambling, addiction treatment. I am trying to become a better person. Can you ever forgive me? I thought about it for a week. Then I drove to the federal prison and visited him. Seeing Travis in a prison uniform, his face gaunt, his eyes hollow, broke something inside me. He was still my son, but he was also the man who tried to destroy me. We sat across from each other in the visiting room. Neither of us spoke for a long moment. Finally, I said, I forgive you because you are my son, but I will never forget what you did. You made your choices, Travis. Now you have to live with the consequences. I know. You did not just steal money from me. You stole my sense of safety. You stole my trust. You made me afraid in my own home. Do you understand that? He nodded, tears running down his face. My revenge was not about destroying you, I continued. It was about saving myself. You expected me to be a victim, to just accept what you did and move on. But I am not a victim. I am a survivor. That is the difference. I understand, Mom. I am so sorry. I hope you use this time to really change. Not just say you are changing, but actually do the work. Because Travis, this is your last chance. When you get out, I will help you rebuild your life if you are serious about being better. But I will never be your source of money again. I will never sign another power of attorney. I will never put myself at risk for you again. Do you understand? Yes. Good. I stood up to leave. Mom, wait. Do you still love me? I looked at my son, the boy I raised, the man who betrayed me, the person who had to learn the hardest way possible what consequences meant. I will always love you, Travis. But I love myself more now, and that is how it should be. I walked out of that prison feeling something I had not felt in a long time. Peace. Now, as I sit on my front porch watching the sunrise, coffee in hand, I think about everything that happened, the fear, the betrayal, the moment I almost lost everything. And I think about the moment I decided to fight back. I did not win by hurting Travis. I won by refusing to let him hurt me anymore. My bank account is healthy. My home is secure. My future is bright. I have boundaries now. I have wisdom earned through suffering. Sometimes Travis still writes to me from prison. Sometimes I write back. Our relationship will never be what it was, but maybe it can be something better, something honest. I smile as the sun rises over my neighborhood. This is my home, my sanctuary, my life, and nobody will ever take it from me again. True strength is not about revenge. It is about refusing to be a victim. It is about setting boundaries even when it hurts. It is about loving yourself enough to let others face their consequences. I learned that love does not mean accepting abuse. Love does not mean sacrificing yourself until there is nothing left. Real love has boundaries. Real love says no when it needs to. Natalie Henderson, retired teacher, survived the worst betrayal imaginable, and she came out stronger. That is my story. That is my truth. And if you are facing something similar, I want you to know this. You are stronger than you think. You deserve better, and it is never too late to save yourself. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever faced betrayal from someone you trusted completely? How did you handle it? Did you set boundaries, or did you struggle to stand up for yourself? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience might help someone else who is going through something similar. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button. Subscribe to this channel for more true stories about overcoming hardship and finding strength you never knew you had. And please, share this video with someone who might need to hear it. You never know whose life you might change by sharing this message. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. I hope my experience gives you courage if you are facing your own battles right now. Remember, you are stronger than your circumstances. You are worthy of respect, safety, and peace, and you have the power to change your own story. Take care of yourselves. Set those boundaries. Love yourself first, and never, ever let anyone make you feel like you deserve less than basic human dignity. Until next time, this is Natalie, reminding you that surviving is just the beginning. Thriving is the goal. Be well.